This is my third class in my 4-part series with you all. In prior weeks, we discussed prepping the skin and finding your proper lip shape. So today, I'm going to demonstrate how to achieve and maintain a glamorous full face application perfect to withstand heavy lighting, late evenings, and long-term events. So we call this look our red carpet ready look. Super excited to get this on the way. Again, if you guys have any questions or comments, definitely leave it in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer as soon as I see it pop up. Okay? All right. So let me just see what this. Let me just see this. Okay. So I am all ready to go. Let me just make sure I'm all set here. And yes, good to go. Okay, so I've already prepped my skin. So like I said, in our original conversations classes, we discussed skin prep, the importance of priming the skin for makeup. A quick overview on that is, I'm sorry, let me just, if I could just, there we go. A quick overview of that, thank you. A quick overview of that is, I moisturized my skin, used a light moisturizer. I actually hydrated today with some youth serum by One Love and some moisture mist I mist my face with. At the same time, I went ahead and moisturized my lips. We like to moisturize the lips before we get started with the skin so that by the time we are ready for lipstick, lip gloss, our lips are properly plumped and hydrated. For that, I used our Jouer Essential Lip Enhancer. For the skin, I prepped with our Arboreum. Let me see if I have that here for you guys. I prepped with our Pink Perfect Arboreum. This kind of just smooths over the skin. It just kind of, yeah, I can't wait for the holidays either, actually. It's going to be like crazy pandemonium since a lot of people are working from home. So really quickly, I used Arboreum, the Pink Perfect. It smooths the skin over really nicely. The importance of priming the face is to give your skin an even base for the makeup to adhere to. So a skin concern of mine are large pores. And so I like my face to be very smooth and very even before I go on top with my foundation. And so because of that, I use a primer, this particular primer, Pink Perfect, that also hydrates but smooths and fills in fine lines and pores. So what I haven't done is prime my eyelids. And so I can actually do that with you guys now. I'm going to be using the Eye Brightening Primer from Jouer. And I'm just going to be dabbing a small amount of that onto my eyelids. And this particular formula helps the eyeshadow to not only stay on all day, but also not to crease and to be true to color. So I'm just going to tap that on actually with my finger all over the lid from the lash line. This is the lash line throughout the crease. This is my crease up throughout my brow bone, and this is my brow bone. I like to use my finger so that I can get in the crevices, and also sometimes the finger will help to warm the product up for you. I already started my brows, but I like to go in and finish them off with a powder. I actually just used a pencil. The pencil that I used was Anastasia's Brow Wiz in brunette. So just gonna dab, and bear with me, I'm a glasses wearer and my left eye is better than my right. So sometimes it makes me ambidextrous as I have to use my left hand so that I can see properly. But so I'm going all over the lid, throughout the crease, up into the brow bone. I've warmed that product up. And what I like about this brightener is that it brightens up the eye in a way that I could just put on some mascara and this could be it if I wanted that to be the case. So moving on from that, I would like to, okay, so really quickly, because I based my lips first, it allows my lips to dry. Then I move on into basing my skin. I allow that to dry by going into the eye area and priming the eyelid. Now I'm letting that dry. I'm gonna go back to the skin and I'm just gonna put on my foundation. Before I put on my foundation though, I just decided that I'm gonna color correct a little bit. Color correction and concealing tend to maybe go hand in hand sometimes. Sometimes people will go, oh, should I get a concealer a little lighter than my eye shade, my skin complexion, or should I get a concealer the same color as my skin complexion? The idea is that you're color correcting the darkness. And so because you're color correcting the darkness, you kind of want to take a look at what you're concealing. I believe that you conceal and color correct first and then highlight later. So if you want your concealer to be a lighter shade to give you that nice lightening effect, that dimension, then you would need to color correct with your own either natural skin complexion for concealer or color correct with maybe something a little bit more pigmented. Maybe you're color correcting your circles, which are more purple, and so then you would go into like maybe a more yellow type of color to tone out that purple under eye dark circle. So my dark circles tend to be a little purplish, a little darkish, and so I go in with a little bit of an orange color concealer. This is actually the multiple from Stila, the color correction palette. It comes with a variety of shades so that you can manipulate the color as you need to. I find that when I do this, it kind of brightens up the eye area in a way, if you guys can look from one eye to the other eye and see the difference. And so because it does that, then when I go on with my foundation, I almost don't need a concealer. Like this kind of does the job for me. So I'm just gonna dab that under the eye very liberally. And I'm using an all over shader brush because I don't want the color to be too concentrated. I want it to be a little bit diffused as I'm putting it on. And then the same thing we're gonna do with the other eye. So certain other areas may require you to color correct. I like to do color correction before I do my foundation, but of course after I've prepped and primed my skin. Areas of discoloration sometimes are around the mouth, sometimes in the hollows of the cheeks, and oddly enough, sometimes in the forehead. So those are areas to think about when you're color correcting. But do you see what a difference that makes already in the eye area? I think that color correcting is like one of those pivotal moments that you have to get everything in a uniform color before you go on top with everything else. So I like to kind of use my blender brush just to kind of diffuse a little bit of that line in between. And then I'm gonna go right on with my foundation. The foundation that I'm gonna be using is the Becca Ultimate Coverage. Oh, bear in mind, guys, any of the products that I've mentioned, definitely check out Blushington.com's website. We're offering 10% off. If you have orders of 100 or more, shipping is free. Check us out and see what items we have, because we have something for everyone. And we have an awesome new website to check out, so definitely check that out. So I'm using Becca Ultimate Coverage Foundation. This is it's not thick, but it's full coverage. It can be medium to full coverage. It's excellent for all skin tones. It doesn't clog the pores, and it smooths the skin over really nicely. It's also a natural finish, So you're not going to get too dry of a look, and it's not going to be too dewy of a look at the same time. It's a really good go-between. We do still have the Aqualuminous foundation. Yes, we do. It hasn't been discontinued. Yeah, it's definitely a goodie. We probably curated or scaled down on colors. That might be a reality, but we because it's a fan favorite, we're not letting it go. We're definitely not letting it go. Becca themselves, though, they go through times where they're reformulating. So, for instance, the Ultimate Coverage, yeah, definitely check out blushington.com. It's a honestly, our brands are curated and are female founded, and they're like really top of the line brands. We caught Becca before Becca hit the mainstream. We did the same with Jouer. I'll say Steffi and Nikki are excellent when it comes to foreseeing what's going to be a hot thing or a hot ticketed brand for us. And it's really cool when you think about the fact that there are a lot of brands that are women founded, that are for us, by us. You know what I'm saying? So definitely check out the website. And I'm gonna just go ahead and start with my foundation. I'm applying it with my Beauty Blender. I have a Black Beauty Blender sponge by Beauty Blender. If you notice, this is the consistency that I like. It's very soft and pliable. It's not hard, it's not rough. It's even bigger than it looks like when you first purchase it. That's because I've moistened it up with a little bit of water, and I've sprayed it down with a little bit of Neil Schultz's the toner, the alcohol-free clarifying toner. So I add skincare in with all of my products. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you see half of my face. Gonna do the whole half really quickly. I like the Beauty Blender because it allows me to work very quickly. And this is half. I apologize if my light fluctuates a little bit. But look at the coverage, and then you can see from side to side the difference. It's very smooth and very natural looking. And at the same time, it gives me a little bit of glow, but not too much of a shine. Mind you, it hasn't even dried down yet. And it doesn't oxidize dark either. That's something that I really like. So our handy dandy Blushington professionals behind the scenes, letting us know. I did. I had it in the palm of my hand, and then I dabbed my beauty. Usually I have a palette, but I'll have a palette and I won't use it. So it'll be right here in front of me, and it's just one of those natural things that you get used to doing. So yes, I put the foundation in my hand. Sometimes I will use the palm of my hand. Sometimes I'll start on the inside because I know I'm going to use the top side, and so I'm just creating space for later. So now that we have our foundation on, I like to go on top for red carpet looks only. For everyday makeup, I don't go on top with a powder just because I don't feel the need to. But for like a red carpet event, let's say you're going to a wedding, I would definitely lightly dust a little bit of loose powder onto the skin, and also blend the products that we used into the skin with the loose powder. I'm using RMS. This is an organic brand, super natural friendly, will absorb all types of oil. So I like to start in my T-zones, and then I like to take the rest of it, and with this kind of brush, just kind of dab and sweep and work that in. And now I have like a nice smooth base, and it's nice and even, doesn't look cakey, doesn't look heavy, but definitely looks uniform and definitely looks smooth. I'm all about looking smooth. So with that in mind, I'm going to move on to contouring. So I'm going to be contouring with, I'm going to be contouring with a concealer by Kevyn Aucoin, the Fearless Concealer. It's slightly darker than my own complexion, not that much darker. You can use your if you have a darker shade of foundation, you can use that. If you have a multiple stick, you can use that. We have really cool multiple sticks online that I like, that I just don't have handy right now. But anything that is a shade darker than your own natural skin complexion, but not too off-putting, if that makes sense, is a good go-to. Putting this right back in my hand, another product in my palm, and then I'm gonna go back on with my beauty blender, my all-purpose, on-purpose beauty blender. Let me see. What do you wish Blushington carried? Let me see. We're actually starting to. We've started an initiative where we're going to be carrying and launching and using more female-founded brands of minority, of deeper skin tones, of Asian skin tones, of African descent. So actually more to come. I am very appreciative of this time that we've all had to reflect on a lot of things, and Blushington is listening and taking note and making adjustments. And so more to come. I'll say that. So on my hand with my darker shade, I'm just gonna start where that is. Give you a, see that? I'm not coming all the way down here. It is. It's very exciting, very exciting. I'm not gonna bring my contour all the way down to my mouth, because that does what? That brings the face down. So what I want is the shading. So you see on this side that I don't have the contour happening. It does something to the face. This side of the face kind of appears a little slimmer, not so much slimmer, but a little slimmer. We're trying for a little slimmer. So that's where my line of sight is right here. And I'll even bring a little bit of color down on the ear so that once I start blending, it doesn't look stark or disproportionate. I'm gonna grab a little bit more product before I start blending, so I can go on the other side to place. And again, by the ear, a way to find this area, the hollows of the cheek. You can kissy face. Not bringing it down, bringing it to right here. Then I'm going to get a little bit of my forehead, because I'm a little diamond shaped and I have a little point at the top, little point at the bottom where my chin is. So I like to round that out a little bit, okay? And then the dreaded double chin that I can't hide really, but I could fake the funk and hide a little bit. So what I like to do is kind of, well, the angle that you guys are, I like to look in the mirror kind of like this, and so it shows me where I would like my chin to be, you know, cut off. Look in the mirror, and then I just kind of round out in that area with my beauty blender, cutting it right off. I also take the blend down into my neck, just because you don't want to see any lines of demarcation. I'll bring it around into where the ear is, bring it around into over here where I put that extra bit of color. And then I'm using the back side of my beauty blender to blend. Look in the mirror, not just in the camera. and I'm blending it into the cheek. I'm smiling, not because I'm crazy, but because it shows me exactly where my color is going to be when I'm looking at someone and smiling. The idea is that we're creating dimension in the face for these pictures, for this red carpet makeup. It's all about the picture when it comes to red carpet. So I'm going to take a little bit more product. I'm going to go a little bit into the temple. We also want this to be natural at the same time. So blend, blend, blend is your friend. I'm sure you guys have heard it. Don't take any shorts when it comes to blending, because blending will tell all. This is the beat. When we talk about beating our face, this is the beat that we're talking about. Okay. So I like to, after that, I'm gonna go back into with my powder brush. And this is a little bit fuller, this powder brush. And just with the same little small amount of that RMS loose setting powder, I'm just lightly setting. And this is just so that nothing is, no matter what I'm doing, I'm not moving product. Everything is set. So with every layer, I'm setting. Okay, and so now that we have that going on, I like to then go in with a little bit of, bronzing. This is my step. And so I'm using, this is, where is it? This is Becca in the color Cafe. It's a matte bronzer from Becca. And this is just to enhance our cream bronzing. If you have any questions, definitely put it in the chat if you're thinking of anything. So I like to go on with a matte bronzer as opposed to a shimmery one in the beginning, because I'm just building up my contour. I'm also using an angled brush. Bronzer can't be substituted for highlighter because bronzing would be in that bronzing type of tone, whereas in highlighter would be off of your tone and lighter, if that makes sense. So I will just put in the camera. So we have a couple of different things. So Cafe, first of all, from Becca. See that? Completely matte. There's no glimmer in it. So that means, okay, so really quickly, the placement is right on top of the contour. So starting from back here, pushing forward, and then blending it. That's the placement. Starting from back here, pushing forward. That's the placement. That's the placement. So, okay. Now this is Cafe, and it's a matte bronzer. Matte is not going to be reflective of light. And so if you're going to be taking pictures, it would probably make more sense to work with more matte colors in terms of powder than it would be to use something that has that shimmering effect to it. So this is the difference between a highlighter per se and a bronzer. See the shimmer? Bronzers are bronzed, so they almost always have that bit of shimmer and those flexes of gold in them. So there's your difference. Now you might say, well, which one do I use? It depends on the look that you're going for and the event that you're going for, that you're going to. If you're going to a red carpet event, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna use both. You might say, oh my God, that's a lot. It's a red carpet event. You're going to be taking pictures. You're going to be playing with multiple different things. You probably will use both. In the summertime, your beautiful going out might just be the bronzer with the flex in it, because it's going to give you some deepening and some color intensity without being overbearing. Also, we like to be lighter in the summertime. So you're not going to put and layer on things unless you're going to a wedding and you need pictures. If you need pictures, you just got to bite the bullet. You're going to do both. So that's the difference, and that's when you would use one versus the other. Anytime you talk pictures, you kind of need matte because you don't want to come off shiny. If you're someone who has a job where you're on television a lot, they always want matte, 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 matte. And that's when you choose your mattifying bronzer. A mattifying bronzer gives you more color. So if you're like, oh, I love to be bronze, I love to be a little dark, a little bit warmer in the summer, you're gonna achieve that better with your warmer color and mattifying contour powder. I'm trying to figure out how to word it so that it's not confusing, because you can go to Blushington and say, I'm looking for a matte bronzer. And so that would be your contour, but it would be a matte. It's a matte versus shimmer, or versus shimmer. So that's really what we're talking about. I'm going to use both. It's red carpet. And I'm not going to use a lot. Just because I'm using them both, it doesn't mean that I need a lot. So I bring that on around, and I'm reinforcing that contour on the chin. And I'm also reinforcing on the forehead, going into the temples, blending down. And you can see the difference in the face. We're creating dimension. And so now I have this nice area that's kind of coming forward, and the areas that I want more recessing. So after I do that, this is me, I then like to go on with my concealer. So concealer, AKA highlighting the areas, the T-zone areas. So I'm back with my Kevyn Aucoin Etherealist. Now this is lighter than my natural shade, and I don't feel like I need concealing per se, but I do feel like I want highlighting. So I'm gonna go on with a cream to highlight under my eyes, down the bridge of my nose, and under my lip, and also in the sun part of my forehead. So these are those videos that you may see on YouTube or Instagram where they're painting their face. I'm gonna go ahead with my beauty blender. Same beauty blender. Some people are like, oh, what can you do with the beauty blender? Everything. You can do your whole face with it. So take a look at that. That is the placement. Under the eye, going up. Do you see it? That's the placement. And it's lighter than my skin, obviously, but not so light that it looks crazy. I'm gonna go just under the lip, and I'm gonna go in that sun part of the forehead. So just right in here, just right in there, I'm touching. Are you guys able to see it? I know that the lighting is I'll try to do a little bit of a stronger, just in case you guys aren't seeing it. When I look, I can tell because I'm achieving what I want, but I'm not sure if you guys are able to exactly see what I did. So I'm just gonna go right on top again in this area. See that? That I know you can see. In that area. That's my highlighting area. I'm gonna go down the bridge of my nose, trying to get that as straight as I can. If you do this and it's a little crooked, your nose will look crooked in pics. So try to like etch it straight down. And do you see the difference? So that is just because of one of our artists, expert artists, taught me recently. In pictures, the nose gets recessed, and you don't see those lines. You don't see those that bone structure in the nose. So it's behoove you to strengthen that line and bring to strengthen that line and etch out where the bridge of the nose should be. I am flat here, so I'm creating a line. And then I'm just gonna go right on top with my, I'm gonna get a cleaner beauty blender. Sorry, I have tons and tons of beauty blenders. And we're just going to blend that on down. I kind of like that to sit a little bit when I have time, because it'll dry down on its own. And then when I go to blend it, it's like I'm barely moving the product. Like, because you want it to, you don't want it to blend down so much that you no longer see it. So I like to let it dry just a little bit before I go in and start blending it down. And I'm just softly, very softly, I'm not applying too much pressure. I'm just softly moving that into the skin, really gently, so that you're able to still see the dimension of the highlight from the contouring. Under the chin. Okay, very cute. So that is that. I'm gonna now go on top with a little bit more of that setting powder, just because we're doing a red carpet look. In general, I'm not a baker. If you guys have heard about baking, I'm not one of those people. But when it comes to doing my eye makeup, after I've done my face, it's smart to create a place for the drop of the shadows to rest, so that you can sweep them off. You can sweep off the drop shadow without disturbing your makeup look. So I'm mainly going in those T-zone areas where I've highlighted with my powder. And that's basically it for now. That would be the bacon. This brush that I'm using is Bdellium Tools, the 980 full figured gal brush, perfect for powder, all over powder, and all over bronzer if you're a bronzer all over kind of girl. Okay, if you guys are not ready, here is the eye makeup portion. You better get ready. So I'm gonna make this as simple as I can. We're gonna do a basic smoky eye. A smoky eye is a graduation of color. It's a graduation of color from dark to light. It can start at the lash line and be dark completely at the lash line and get lighter on the way up, or it can start lighter in the inner corner of the eyes and get darker on the way out. Now that depends on your eye shape. I have almond-shaped eyes, and they're slightly turned up. I like to play that upturn, and I like to make my my smoky eye a little darker towards the outer corners of the eye. These are the inner corners of the eye. This is the outer corner of the eye. So starting off, I'm going to be using my Modern Renaissance palette by Anastasia, and I'm also going to be using a matte and metal palette from Stila. This is going to give me some shine at the end. Doesn't look as cute as I like it looks to me here. So we're going to go in with an all over shadow color. The main brushes that I'll be using are my blending brush, 2 blending brushes, and my all over shadow brush, shader brush from Bdellium. So starting with my all over shader brush, which is sort of dome and flat shaped so that it can pick up color and pack on color. So use your brushes for the shapes that they are. You see your brush has a flat side to it, that means you should pick up and place with that flat side. Flat sides help you build up on color, whereas in the poofier brushes kind of disperses color uniformly all over. So if you're trying to get some strength out of your color, pick it up with the flat side. So what I'm going to use is the warm taupe, and this is the action. Just picking that up. Have that color, loaded that color up. Gonna kind of tap off the excess so that the tap off doesn't tap off onto my beautiful flawless face. And looking down into my mirror, I'm just going to pat all over from the lash line throughout the crease and almost up to the brow bone, almost. So this is a baseline of shadow. Also, that taupe color is sort of close to my own natural skin tone, but slightly darker, slightly more neutral. So this will create, this creates a proper base for shading and seeing a gradient of color without it being, oh, I use light and then I use dark. You need a middle color to meld that together. It's kind of like water and oil kind of needs like a middle ground so that it mixes well. This is the mixed medium color. Okay, this eye betrays me. A little careful and over here and double check. You see that taupe color. I'm gonna bring that color, like I said, throughout the crease, and I'm gonna bring it almost up to the brow bone. Patting, patting, strong patting all the way through. Strong patting all the way through. Okay, now I feel like this eye is slightly deeper than the other, so I'm just gonna go and pick up slightly more color pigment, and I'm going to reintroduce that pigment to the other eye just to make it match. Definitely look and double check, are they even? Do both eyes have the same amount of color on them? Okay, and so now that I have that, I'll take my blending brush and just lightly sweep, windshield wiping back and forth, lightly at the top of where that color ends, so that I'm diffusing the pigment throughout the eye. And then I'll sweep up a little bit towards the ends. And that already gives us that kind of gradient effect. Now I'm gonna do something a little bit radical, not radical to me. I'm not sure how you guys will feel about it, but I've got my Stila Smudge Pot here. It's fresh. I'm excited about the fact that it's fresh. So Stila Smudge Pot is excellent, excellent, excellent. You need it. You need a Stila Smudge Pot. You need it in brown. You need it in black. You need it. So this is the all-purpose, on-purpose, helps you build up shadow color, will make your shadow color look stronger, will help you to perfect that cat eye that it's hard to manipulate because the brushes and the liquids all over the place. This will stay put. You put it on. Once it dries down, it'll give you some time to work it out. Once it dries, it's not going anywhere. Super pliable, super easy to work with. If you were doing like a liner, you would go in with your liner brush, tap it in there. A little bit goes a long way. You want to make sure you close this up as soon as you're finished with it. Look at all that product on there. You can smooth it. And then you can manipulate. I'm just on my hand so that you can see how that, see that? See how easy that line was and how slow, I'll do it again, how slow you can work. while you're trying to figure out what you want to do. See that? You need that. We all need that in our lives because making these lines are hard on us all. So with that in mind, though, I'm going to use this as a shadow base. And I'm going to actually, I like to use this sometimes on the eye before I do anything, but definitely with a smoky eye because it's going to create the darkness that I need to build up. We already have a diffuse situation with the shadow, so we don't have to worry so much about the smoke. The smoke is there. So now I'm just going to go across the lash line very liberally, not strategically so much. Look at that. From eye to eye. Not strategic at all. I just kind of threw it on there. Just threw it on there. So I'm going to go back with my brush and kind of just work it in a little bit. A little bit, not even a lot. Open my eye. Feather it through, out the eye a little bit. On the lid, I have actually quite small lids, if you see, you notice. I have small lids, but a lot of eye space. So I definitely have a lot of real estate to work with, even though my lids are smaller. So check in, look at me. So from eye to eye, do you see the difference? That is my smoky-ish eye. So what I'll do is, before I get to the other eye, making sure you close that up every time you are done dipping your brush in there. I'm gonna take my all over shadow brush, and remember that color, that first color that I put on, that taupe, I'm gonna go right on top of it, right on top. So it kind of diffuses that a little bit. Do you see that? So now it melds into the first color that I put on seamlessly while creating that dark shade. Do you see what I did there? Super, super simple. Super simple. One color, two products, and one shadow color. Now, let me do the other eye before I kick it up a notch. Hopefully you guys are staying with me and this is being helpful. This is helpful to you guys. So I load my brush up again with the cream. I'm gonna go into, this is my not so great eye, so bear with me. It's funny, this eye gives me the most trouble because I don't see well. And then 9 times out of 10, it comes out looking better than the other eye. Go figure. Go figure. So I don't want to spend too much time on it because the point is that it doesn't need to be so strategically perfect when it comes to figuring out how do I do this smoky eye. It's super, super simple. Back into my taupe. Just going to touch up on top, bring it up, and kind of diffuse the whole pigment. Super cute. Very cute. And this is kind of like a grayish, smoky, taupe-ish. You could have a purple smoky, or a brown, or blue. It's any gradient of color going from dark to light, or light to dark. I'm going to now go on top with a shimmer. Do I want to do that? I do want to do that. So I'm going to go on top with this dark shimmer here. Shimmer just ensures that, I don't know, it just does something. Sometimes, like if you were taking pictures and it was like editorial, maybe not a shimmer because you're not going to really see it so much. But on a red carpet type of event, oh my God, a shimmer is popping. So what I just did, I didn't mention, but what I just did was I sprayed my all over brush with a little bit of One Love, the Moisture Mist, because I also use the Moisture Mist to set after I'm done. And so this creates another mixed medium for the sparkle in your shimmer to be that much more powerful. So just spraying the brush after I've dipped it in with all the product, and then I'm just gonna tap that on there. So you see how it gave me like a little foil right in the middle there. Do you see that? That little foil? Gonna go on top again with that. Give me a little bit of foil. And I feel like it just adds to the drama of the eye. I'm gonna get a little bit more product to do the other eye. Spritzing. Looking into the camera and down in my mirror. And I'm just, see how I'm kind of like patting in that middle area? I'm not going too far up, not too far left, not too far right, staying right here, and I'm patting. And while I'm patting, it's also kind of blending that in. Very nice. Get a little bit more. And then I'm gonna switch up the color a little bit just to get a little bit more sparkle in there, because I like to sparkle. So now I'm gonna go in with a lighter shade. Very cute. I'm gonna go in with this lighter shade here. Also has sparkle flecks in it. I feel like you're not reading it so well, but, and then I'm just gonna go on top with that. Spray it again, just for added measure, and dab. I feel like it's not showing up for you guys like it is for me. I'm sorry about that, but it's super cute. And, okay. So that is our smoky eye. What I like to do after that is to make sure everything is nice and diffused. I'll just run this right on through. Windshield wiping lightly, like the pressure is little to no pressure. And I'm just kind of sweeping and diffusing all of that throughout the whole shape of the eye. In here, in the inner corners, up, out. And then that's that. So something that I'm not a big fan of, but I will incorporate sometimes, is putting a little bit of light in the inner corner of the eye. A lot of people like to do that. For some reason, I just feel like it doesn't read strong on me, but it is one of those things that it's kind of a staple that I do for my clients. Just don't feel like it makes a huge difference for me. I don't know why. But that's, you might look at it and say, it did make a difference. That's the difference. That's the tear duct. I just tap in the tear duct. I'll even bring it down a little bit here. See that? Just a little bit. And then I'll blend that through so that it's not so stark in that particular area with my blending brush. Right? I have a little bit of fallout under my eye. So with that, I just go back into, I don't know if you can see a little bit of fallout I have. I dip my brush back into a little bit of loose powder, and I just sweep and sweep, and it comes right off because we had that powder base underneath. And now it's time, excuse me, for me to do what I did to the top in terms of line to the bottom. So we're gonna line the bottom of our eye. I'm using the Smudge Stick by Stila. I'm using a combination of espresso along with Stingray, which is the black. So Stila Smudge Spot, it's Smudge Spot. Stila Smudge Pot, Smudge Stick is just like the Smudge Pot. It is a cream gel base. So once it dries, it's not going to budge, doesn't go anywhere, but it's going to give you some time to manipulate it while you're using it and putting on the eye. You can use it and smudge it in, smear it a little bit to create a nice little smoke effect also. So see if I can do this in a way that you guys are able to see. I'm going to just use my beauty blender to hold my eye down. I'm going in through the lashes and around the eye. And I kind of, because I have smaller eyes, I like to bring that down. So do you see what I did there? From one eye to the other. I'm going to take now a smudge brush I'm using to smudge my shadow. What I've been using is actually Bdellium. I'm looking for the, I apologize, Bdellium Tools 542. That's what I use to put on my smudge stick with. That's what I'm using to smudge the eyeliner with. And I'm just taking it, running that on across so that the line isn't a strong line. It's kind of a diffused line. See that? And now that I'm looking at it, I don't feel like I need to go on with the black. I was afraid that that might not be dark enough, but I feel like it's dark enough. I feel like that's dark enough. So do you see the difference from eye to eye? It's a huge difference. And I feel like this eye looks bigger than this eye. And that's honestly what I like to achieve. When your pictures, when you take pictures, you want your eyes to just pop out on the picture. You want all the frames and lines of your face to pop out where you want it to pop out and recess where you need it to recess. So doing the other eye, through the lash line, and then I'm bringing it slightly under the lash line. Through the lashes and slightly under. So when you have a little bit of wrinkles, explain your question a little bit further so I can understand. And are you in the camera? So maybe we can walk you. Oh, okay. I see you. I'm gonna pin you.
Ah!
No problem.
Where'd I go?
Let me see. Okay. So can you tell me? Mm-hmm.
Yes. So when I try, once I go to here,
Yes.
I try to take it anywhere past just where the white of my eye ends. Just
Yes.
to put it out a little bit there or here. Lengthen my eye at all. Once I hit here, I've got some really deep wrinkles like the Grand Canyon, and everything gets stuck in it, or it's kind of like a big crater, so it won't even go there. Is there any, like I tried tapping in the concealer there, hoping it'll actually make it.
The thing is when it comes to that, when I have a client who has far more wrinkle in that eye area, I kind of use it. The thing is you have to remember what I'm seeing and what you're seeing is always going to be very different. So you're very close up on your eye and you can see all of these nooks and crannies and crevices. But when you take your picture, all that will read is you won't see the work in it. You'll just see the finished effect. And because of that, what you're saying is when you bring it up in here, it gets a little crepey in there. You're like, do I keep going? Should I? What you do with that area is do exactly what you've been doing. Bring that line out because you're trying to elongate that eye. You have like deep set eyes also. And then it looks like your eyes are a little bit kind of small like mine, but you do have a nice prominent bone. So there's nothing wrong with continuing to do what you're doing, deepening in that area. And then once you're finished and the whole eye is done, then you can either one of two things. You can go in with a Q-tip and just with a little bit of your cleansing water, just go in that particular area and etch it so that it's not as dark in the areas you don't want it to be. Or you can pat on, go back on with your concealer, which will help to diffuse that situation, because again, you're creating this smoke effect. So you want it to look smoky in that area anyway. So that's what you can do, and not worry so much like, oh my God, I got it. When you get fixated on it, you're assuming that the overall look of it will tell on you. It's not the case. I will not see that work. You will know what you had to do, but it'll just read as flawless. So keep doing exactly the way you've been doing. But if you're feeling like, okay, I want it to be slightly more cleaner, then after the fact, go in and just etch it out a little bit. That's what we do. We go in with our concealer brush, and we'll just kind of I'll do that myself because I have a hooded eye. And so in here, the shadow will get a little bit lost, and I'm like, oh my God, like, you know, I become a little fixated. But then when I take a step back and look at it, I'm like, no, it actually falls the way I want it to fall. I just maybe needed to clean it up a little bit right there, and then do that. And then that's it. Don't be hard on yourself. Just use it and know that whatever you did and however way you achieved the look, like I'm looking at your eyes, they look flawless. It looks beautiful under the eye. It looks beautiful and clean outside of the eye. And I see where you're blending in and working in your blending, and it looks perfect. I don't see the work. I don't see the hard work, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for that. Thank you. Okay. So let me get back to here. What I'm doing is, where am I in this process? I was blending out the bottom portion of my line with a smudge brush because I like, my eyes are actually quite small and I like them to look a little bit bigger. And also my eyes are uneven like everyone's eye. No one's eye is perfectly symmetrical. No one's face, no one's lips, no one's anything's perfectly symmetrical. So I try to achieve symmetry by actually putting a little bit more eyeliner in that particular area we were just discussing to give myself a little bit of a bigger eye. And then I'll just smoke it with my smudge brush, which is just passing it back and forth through the product before it dries. And so that's our smoky eye. What you can do, this is dealer's choice. You can go back into your matte shadows and you can touch it up, dealer's choice. Some people like an extra smoky, dark under eye. And so this, you can do a drop shadow by putting a little bit of a dark shade of shadow on your smudge brush and going right back, passing back and forth in that, and look how dark that, how much darker or much intense, much more intense. It intensifies the product that we just put down on there. Dealer's choice on that though. Some people like drop shadow a whole lot more than eyeliner. Some people don't like drop shadow. So totally up to you. This is the eye. So to speed this up a little bit, I'm going to move on to lips. This is the area actually that I would put a little bit of mascara on with a little bit of falsie, but we're not going to do that. What we're going to do, I forgot something. I want to put a little bit, remember we were discussing bronzer and highlighter. So at this particular point, this is when you would go on with your bronzing with the glow. So I'm using, this is Topaz from Becca. I'm using it with an angled brush. And I'm more of a bronze girl than I am a blush girl. So you can replace your blush with a bronzer, the one that has like those gold flexes in them. So I'm going to smile real pretty and start here. See what I did there? See the difference? Can't see it when I don't smile. But when you smile, it's kind of like highlighted. So it gives me a little bit of a glow, but it also gives me like this very interesting smoothening sheen that I find looks unbelievable in pictures. And you can look from one side to the other to see the difference. And then I will touch up starting on the apples of the cheeks. That's why I smile. It shows me where to go. And the placement of that is on the apples of the cheeks, on into the hollow of the cheek. So apple of the cheek, blending it into the hollow of the cheek. I hope that made sense. So that's what I like to do with that. And then, because I like highlighter, I want to go a step further, and I have a second highlighter here, and this is champagne gold. So this is highlighter. So not bronzer, not contour. This is highlighter. It's a light. And so same spot. So I like to get that, like that little sheen kind of thing happening. So you can pick a neutral shade. This is gold. And then my skin tone, my undertones are yellow. And so the gold just kind of highlights in a real phenomenal way. I like to blend my highlighter in though. I don't like a stark line where you can see, like you can still kind of see that line. I kind of like to diffuse that because I just want to glow. I don't want you to see the work. I just want to glow. So I put that top my nose, got the bridge of my nose. That's the same places we put a little bit of sun in when we were doing our cream highlighting. And then I take my beauty blender with a little bit of mist, and then I press in so that you don't see any lines of demarcation. There's a look out there, you might see girls and they have that line going across. I don't like that line. I'm not into the streaking. I just want you to see the glow. Okay, and so that's that. Another thing that you can do if you are a blush girl and you want to discuss, well, where do I put blush? I do like blush. I have Foxglove here. This is from Becca. I'm taking the same angled brush. I'm trying to be gentle. I mentioned I'm not a blush girl, and I smile. This is where you put your blush. Smile. And I do circles again into the hollowed part of the cheek. Do you see that? And I smile because when I'm talking to someone, you know, I can put a cheek color obviously right here. And depending on what my look is, I might do that. But when I'm looking at you forward and I'm talking and smiling, I just want you to see the color where I need you to see it facing me. And so that's why I like to look and smile. Sometimes when I'm doing clients' makeup, I don't even talk. I just look at them when it's blush time and go, and for whatever reason, they will do it right back to me, and then I'm able to go on with the blush. Now, I didn't tap off so much on this end, and so you can see a little bit more of that color, which is a beautiful blush. It is a beautiful blush. I'm just not a blush girl. Every time I put it on and work it in, I'm like, I don't care. I'm still not a blush girl, but it's a beautiful blush. Foxglove, Becca. A little bit more on that side. I'm a blush girl sometimes. Okay, we're ready for our lip now. We're ready for our lip. We discussed the contouring and lip shaping last week. And so I'm just gonna throw on, this is Fiery from Becca, not Becca, from Stila. This is the Stay All Day lip. It dries down to a matte finish. It's a liquid lipstick. I love liquid lipsticks. Like I love lipstick too, but I love liquid lipsticks. It comes with a doe foot applicator. It makes it so simple for you. And they dry down so strong. The color is so strong. It's like, ugh, you know? So I'm gonna use a red lip liner actually. I'm gonna use a red lip liner, and I like a strong Cupid's bow. That's my Cupid's bow. So I'm gonna start with my Cupid's bow and do an X. And I'll do red so that you can see it strong. Sharpness, maybe that will help a little bit so that you can see it like I can see it. So we're just Xing the lip. See that? Not Xing the lip. Creating a guide by dotting the bottom line. Then this part of my lip, my top lip is obviously thinner than my bottom, and then this side of my lip is less full than this side of my lip. So then I immediately go, I'll get closer so you guys can see that. This kind of dips in. I don't know, the older I get, the more it's dipping. I don't know why. I start on the inside, and then I come up and connect. So that was that inside line, but I overline my lip, especially on this side, to match the fullness on this side. So again, starting inside, I come up and round it out a little bit. See that? And you horse it just a little bit. Now look at that, that's a strong lip, strong line. Same thing on the other side, starting on the inside. Gonna go through that again. And then now the bottom. On the inside, starting on the inside. Connecting throughout. And I like a fuller lip, so I tend to go around the line and outskirts. And then that's my lip for all intents and purposes. So I like to fill in the whole lip with the lip liner because it creates a base for the lip color. Nothing's worse than you drink a little bit of wine because you're out, and then you have the outskirts of your lip perfectly strong, intact, but the inside completely paled out. So I like to reinforce that by filling in my whole lip with the lip lining color. It keeps the lip strong. It is a nice base for the lip color to adhere to. And you'll almost always come home with the same color without you having touched up, but definitely touch up. This lip liner is from Julie Hewitt. This liner is from Julie Hewitt. This is Flame. I like her liners because it's a pencil liner and it glides on really easy and the color is really strong. So that's that. Gonna go on top with my lip color doe foot applicator. Nice and strong. And then I will lightly touch it to the top. Connecting that, getting a little bit more, getting the inside. And once this dries down, it's not gonna budge. And it also doesn't dry the lips. This isn't one of the liquid lipsticks that is super drying. I like that about Stila. Stila is one of my favorite brands. Over the years, like, it doesn't matter how many times they revamp the brand, it's still all good. I'm so happy that we carry Stila, because Stila sometimes can be pretty scarce when you're looking for it in other places. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm getting a little bit of my setting powder. Oops, it's a little bit too much. Getting a little bit of my setting powder, and with an angled brush, I am gonna kind of clean up the outskirts just to make that line nice and crispy. I like to do this with my powder as opposed to a liquid color. Do you see the difference it made just that quickly? So I just touched in here. It just sharpens up the line, and it also creates a barrier for your lip color to not bleed out. A little tip and trick. Get that setting powder. Come across the top just a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. Come across the other side, just because I don't like it to look fuzzy, if that makes sense. Come in here, clean that up a little bit. Super cute. And voila. This is my red carpet ready look. This is the whole thing. Like I said, we were supposed to take half an hour, but it's really hard to do with a red carpet look. I'm super excited and happy that you guys stuck around with me. And I'm going to just put on my mascara as I'm closing out. Join me next week. This is cute. I hope you guys like this. Thank you. Thank you. I love that I'm turning into a blush. It's the blush for me. And then the eye. Very good. Okay. So I'm putting on my mascara and letting you know to join me next Saturday when we're going to be discussing touch-ups. So once you have your full face on, it's like, what do I do now? How do I maintain this throughout the day? Do I have to carry my whole vanity with me? No, but we'll discuss it next week. Thank you guys. I'm excited. I'm happy that you guys stuck out with me. I had a lot of fun with you guys. And shop Blushington. I just saw the prompt that said code 20 to get 20% off. Thank you, Miss Alicia. Shopblushington.com. If you guys have, we've pivoted to a virtual system. So you probably already know, definitely if you want to book an online class with moi or any one of our other beautiful, talented artists, join us on blushington.com. Book a glam squad, a virtual glam squad for a party of 2 or a party of 4 or more. But definitely visit us at blushington.com and join me next week. I'm going to finish putting on my mascara and get ready for my faux photo shoot because I'm not going anywhere. Thank you so much, guys. I had a blast, and I hope you had a blast with me. I'm going to sign out now. Bye. Bye.